Greetings. Hi, I'm Dr. Walter Jacobson, a board-certified psychiatrist, a spiritual psychotherapist, and a mastery of life mentor. So the stuff that I do here, I also put on podcasts and on the Dr. Don Show on 1230 KAAA and 1490 KZZZ. This is AM radio. It's on Mondays at 3 p.m. My show, and I got a listener who wrote in and asked me, because I talk a lot about forgiveness and the importance of forgiveness, asked me, well, what do you do when you have trouble forgiving? This person said that he recognizes the value of forgiving, that by not forgiving, he's tormenting himself. By not forgiving, he's just filled with anger and rage and resentment and bitterness, and he's losing sleep over it, and he's anxious and angry and depressed, and so he knows he needs to let go. But he's having a hard time forgiving this person who he feels abused and victimized him. So the key is, when you have trouble forgiving, you need to do it. The point is to remember the motivation. Yes, to remind yourself that I need to let go of this for my own peace of mind. I need to let go of this because being angry and just perpetuates my sense of victimhood and shame and depression. And sometimes even guilt. So just the motivation. I need to let go of my anger. I need to forgive for my own peace of mind, because the anger hurts me. The forgiveness heals me. So that's the motivation. When you resist forgiving others, remind yourself, I'm doing this for me. I'm not doing it for the other person. That's the trap of unforgiveness. We have been hurt. We have been abused. They deserve to be punished. They deserve to be unhappy. They deserve to feel guilt and shame. They deserve to experience the consequences of their actions. And whether they are, feeling those consequences out in the real world or not, we think that this is our power. We think that this is the one power we have over our victimizers, is to withhold forgiveness, to punish them with our anger and our blame and our attack and our judgment and our unforgiveness. But these people, for the most part, aren't losing any sleep over what they have done. They're not up at night. Their guts aren't churning. They're not filled with guilt or shame or anger, or they're completely oblivious. So when we are trying to attack them, in a sense, with our unforgiveness, when we are trying to punish them with our unforgiveness, it's falling on deaf ears. They don't have a clue. Now, sometimes you can write to people and get in their face and tell them, hey, you stink, and you should rot in hell. But for the most part, a lot of times our unforgiveness is just in our head, and we're not verbalizing it or expressing it to the other person. It's just in our head. It's keeping us stuck. So you remind yourself that we're not punishing them. We're not keeping them filled with guilt and shame. It's a complete waste of time to be unforgiving. Remember, this is not about being spiritually enlightened to forgive others, to turn the other cheek, although there is validity to that. There is validity to that, and I don't want to minimize that. It is a spiritually high position to take. It is, a truly loving, compassionate position to take, to put aside your pain and suffering and victimhood and choose to forgive others despite how they've behaved. When you have trouble forgiving others, you try to humanize them rather than demonize them. You try to consider what they've been through in their lives that may have made them act in a way that they did. You try to understand that they were probably victimized, they were probably abused, they were probably abandoned, they were probably neglected, they probably never learned or understood what love is. So therefore they don't know how to ask for love in a proper way, and their anger and rage at being unloved is reflected in a repetition of that, being angry and abusive towards others. So we try to humanize them and appreciate that perhaps, but for the grace of God go I. Perhaps we can humanize them and appreciate that they are not evil, they're not the devil, they're just disturbed, they're mentally ill, they're in pain, they're suffering. And so if we can use that to find a way to lessen our own rage and our own anger and judgment, it makes it easier to forgive. We forgive others. We try to think about the situation that they're currently in. Maybe they are under a lot of stress. Maybe they've got a lot of terrible things happening to them, such that they are not thinking clearly. They take a low road rather than a high road, and attack us in the process of just trying to survive because their lives are so terrible. So we try to find ways to humanize them rather than demonize them, so that we can release our unforgiveness, our judgment, our anger, and our victimhood. You always want to try to find a way to forgive, even though part of you, your ego, doesn't want to do that, wants to keep you enraged, wants to keep you angry, wants to keep you stuck. It's that part of you that really does not have your best interest. Now, a lot of times we are unforgiving because we think that somehow, if we forgive, we're condoning what they've done. We're not. You can still demand that there be consequences, that there be punishments. Some people think that if we forgive, that's weakness. That shows that we're weak. That shows that we're asking to be abused again. No, it's not. You forgive others. You can tell others, go in peace. I want nothing to do with you. I don't want to hang around you. I never want to see you again, but I forgive you. But get out of my face. Get out of my life. I don't want you in my world. So it's not an invitation to be punished or to be abused again. You forgive others for your own peace of mind. So, if it's not weakness, it's actually strength to forgive. So you find ways to forgive. Another way to try to forgive when you're having resistance to it is to try to consider that we really are all one, and that we are all in this together, and that we need to bring everybody up to a place of enlightenment and love and awareness of God, so to speak, or the collective oneness of consciousness, however you want to look at it. And the only way you're going to do that is to be a role model of right action, to really rise above the battlefield and forgive, even when others are suggesting that that's a mistake, that it's weak, that it's that it's an indication of that you're condoning or accepting what they've done. All of that, no. You forgive others for your own peace of mind. You stay on that one note. I'm forgiving others to release me. And then when the thoughts come into your head, the anger thoughts, the victimhood thoughts, the resentment and judgments, the rage, you just tell yourself to shut up. You go, no, I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to indulge that. I've thought about this 1,000,006 times already. There's no new data, no new information, no truth is going to come from this. No enlightenment is going to come from this. No happiness is going to come from me ruminating and obsessing over all this negativity that happened to me. It just keeps me stuck in the past, makes my present equally unpleasant. So you go, no, shut up. I'm not going to think about that. And then you distract yourself. You put your mind someplace else. Distract yourself. Get into some other activity. Your mind may want to bring you back to this. No, you need to think about this. You need to be angry again. You need to ruminate over what happened to you. And again, the answer is no, I'm not going to go there. And the more you insist upon this, the more you insist that you're not going to dwell on negativity and anger and resentment, you're not going to put your mind there, you're in control. You can think what you want to think. Thoughts may pop into your head, but you have a choice to tell them to go away, to stuff them back down. I don't want to go there. You are not a victim of your mind. So you tell your mind, no, I don't want to think about that. I'm done thinking about that. I'm done basking in the glory of victimhood. I'm done. And then you put your mind someplace else. The more you insist that you're going to put your mind thinking about other things, positive things, loving things, hopeful things, optimistic things, the future rather than the past, you get better at it, you get better at it, until eventually you, to a large degree, if not completely, extinguish the charge of victimhood, and you are able to release your pain and forgive. Okay, that's it for today. Thanks. Take care. Peace be with you. See you next time.